I was on Crosstalk. We taped earlier today, and we talked about the debate that CNN held. And that debate, like I told you guys, I said it before, and I'll say it again. And again, I am a guy who normally does not like to speak in superlatives. I normally don't do it, but here I go. There's exceptions to every rule, right? That debate was the worst display of news and information I saw on any type of major network ever in my lifetime. I've never seen anything like it. It was so cringeworthy bad. Just the questions, the way they were leading, the chyrons, and it wasn't just directed at Bernie. It was all over the place. Amy Klobuchar, she would make these statements. They never asked her to specify on anything. They never challenged her on anything. She just made these statements. She's against free college. She goes, these people who want free college aren't thinking big enough. Well, what's your big idea then? You're against free college. Or tuition-free college, rather. It's technically not free. It's included, but you know what I mean. Tuition-free college. No one asked her that. They just let her say it. Joe Biden makes all these bogus assessments on Bernie's healthcare plan. They just let him say it. They say to Bernie, did you say that to Elizabeth Warren, that you don't think a woman could be president? No, I did not say it. Next question to Liz Warren. Hey, how did you feel when Bernie Sanders said this? And then they did the same thing. Bernie, you should tell people how much Medicare for all costs. Okay, here's a figure assessing the cost of Medicare for all. Next question. Biden, isn't it unfair that Bernie doesn't say how much Medicare for all costs? I mean, it was unbelievable how terrible that debate was. And the fact that it's permissible. I mean, the bar for our corporate media is so painfully low. It's unreal to begin with. Somehow that bar has been even lowered. But here's a friendly reminder, and Tim sends this to us. This is from a while back, but let's keep in mind who are pulling the strings here. CNN hires a GOP political operative to help coordinate 2020 coverage. CNN's latest political hire is making major waves, or perhaps better described, the hiring of Sarah Isgur has created a tsunami. It's well-known cable networks hire partisan analysts to give their opinions, but Isgur was hired to be among those in charge of editorial decisions in the upcoming campaign, and she is far from nonpartisan. The new politics editor was most recently the spokesperson for former Attorney General Jeff Sessions. Before that, she worked on campaigns for the likes of Ted Cruz, Carly Fiorina, and Mitt Romney. But that just scratches the surface. Here are some other reasons why people say Isgur has no business helping to run a department at CNN. She has no journalism experience. Washington Post reporter Josh Dalsey writes she pledged loyalty to Donald Trump. She has heavily criticized CNN in the past, including once dubbing the news organization as the Clinton News Network. She has indicated climate change is not a threat. So the big thing here is, even putting aside her political bias, even putting aside this person's political bias, they have no journalistic experience, which is huge here and very typical of CNN. CNN, Jeff Zucker, has made it very clear CNN is not in the business of news. They are in the business of ratings and their shareholders. He's made that very clear. You can find statements of him pretty much saying that in a slightly more flowery way than I just put it, but he pretty much admits to it. CNN, and that's why when you have no journalistic standards, you just publish things where a couple anonymous sources told you something. Hey, some anonymous sources said this. Good enough for me. And that's what they did recently. A couple anonymous people talked about a private conversation. CNN published it uncritically. And then other media outlets published it, citing CNN as a source. The organization that published it without any sources, completely uncritically. This is our news media. This is our news media.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your